Hi, good morning. This is my final project on John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. J. R. R. Tolkien was born on January 3rd, 1892 and died on September 2nd of 1973. His parents were Arthur Tolkien and Mabel Suffield Tolkien. He had a younger brother whose name was Hilary. He was born in Bloemfontein, South Africa. Arthur died when Tolkien was just 4 years old, and Mabel died a few years later. After both their parents died, they lived with aunts and at boarding homes. Tolkien was born on January 3rd, 1892 in Bloemfontein, South Africa. At the age of 3, his mother brought him and his younger brother Hilary back to England. Tolkien's father died soon afterwards in South Africa, so they stayed in England. When he was just 12 years old, Tolkien's mother died, and he and his brother were made wards of a Catholic priest. They lived with aunts and in boarding homes thereafter. Young Tolkien attended King Edward's School in Birmingham in the years 1910 and 1911, where he excelled in classical and modern languages. There are 6 known contributions he made in the King Edward's School Chronicle. In 1911, he went to Exeter College, Oxford, where he studied classics, Old English, Germanic languages, Welsh, and Finnish. He quickly demonstrated an aptitude for philology and began to create his own languages. In 1913, Tolkien published his very first poem, called From the Many-Willowed Margin of the Immemorable Thames, in the Stapledon magazine of Exeter College. By the time Tolkien had completed his degree at Oxford in 1915, World War I had erupted across Europe. Tolkien enlisted and was commissioned in the Lancashire Fusiliers, but he did not see active duty for months. In this period, he wrote the poem Goblin Feet, which got published in Oxford Poetry in 1915. When he learned that he would be shipped out in March 1916, he married his longtime friend Edith Bratt, the girl the poem was written for. Tolkien was sent to the Western Front and fought the Somme offensive. Almost all of his closest friends were killed. After 4 months in and out of the trenches, he contracted a typhus-like infection and was sent back to England, where he served for the rest of the war. Tolkien's first job was as a lexicographer on the New English Dictionary, helping to draft the Oxford English Dictionary. Tolkien wrote a Middle English vocabulary, but it was not published until 1922. He initially studied classics but changed his course in 1913 to English language and literature, graduating in 1915 with first-class honors. The National University of Ireland and University of Liège presented him with an honorary degree in 1954. In 1972, he was made Commander of the Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth II. The Lord of the Rings was named UK's best-loved novel in a survey in 2003. Australians voted the book as my favorite book in a poll conducted by the Australian ABC in 2004. Oxford University offers a professorship in his name, J. R. R. Tolkien Professor of the English Literature and Language, while the Tolkien Society organizes Tolkien Reading Day on March 25th every year in schools nationwide. Tolkien died on September 3rd of 1973 in Bournemouth, England. His wife died in 1971. He died 21 months later in 1973 and was put to rest in his wife's grave. Tolkien died from a bleeding ulcer and chest infection at the age of 81. Tolkien could write and read fluently by the age of 4. While living in South Africa, Tolkien was bitten by a bamboo spider. Many believed this accident would echo in his future works. In 1999, 250,000 Amazon customers voted his novel, Lord of the Rings, as the book of the millennium. The first signed edition of The Hobbit reportedly went for $85,000 at an auction. I hope you enjoyed my presentation on John's life. Thank you so much for listening to me.